America, we don't turn to government to restore ourselves. We put our faith in Almighty God. You voted to make America great again. We are making America greater than ever before, and it's happening before your eyes. We will rekindle new faith in our values, new pride in our history, and a new spirit of unity that can only be realized through love for our great country. The American people voted to reject this corrupt globalism. This is the most important election in the history of our country. And yet, despite all of our greatness as a nation, everything we have achieved is now in danger. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. And when I'm reelected, the best is yet to come.
Live from America, you're listening to the Hip Hop Patriot, Jeremy Herrell.
It is 5 o'clock Eastern Time, right here from the Live Free or Die state of New Hampshire. So if it is Monday through Friday, and it's 5 p.m. Eastern Time, then you know what time it is. It is time for Live from America. Thank you so very much for joining in for the second hour today here on Live from America. For those watching on the website, the YouTube, you'll watch on Parler, you'll see it on Telegram, Rumble, the podcast, everything. Thank you guys all so very much. We're growing so quickly that before you know it, we're going to go from 6-7 platforms to about 14 platforms, and that's all because of you. So thank you very much. It is April 15th, year of our Lord 2021. This is Live from America, and I am your ever so humble, God-fearing but God-loving host, Jeremy Herrell, the one and only hip-hop patriot, and you are the one and only family of LFA Media. So thank you guys so very much. Let's get to those live shout outs for those people who are watching, where I can see from the YouTube and from the website. So let's do that right now. We have Trinette Mitchell from Texas, Ron Man 138 from the wonderful state of Ohio, Julie McWalter from Minneapolis, G Combs from Texas, Ilona Trujillo, she says, shout me out, Jeremy. Well, I just did. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me, Ilona. April Jones from the wonderful Sunshine State of Florida. Melissa Barlow is watching. She says, favorite part of the day. I appreciate that more than you know. Rachel Hawley from Minnesota. Terry Stone says, what up? Matt from Massachusetts is watching, or Taxachusetts, whatever you want to call it. But I appreciate that. You are my neighbor to the south, and I love the state of Massachusetts. I just don't love the politics there. Daryl Watts is watching. Karen Brunette said, first one to hit the like today. Awesome. You get that gold star of the day. Deborah Swift says, hello everyone from Virginia. Amanda Mutos says, information overload from so many sources, yet I never miss this show. Aww. Oh, I wish I could take you out to dinner or bake you some cookies or something for saying such a nice thing. Thank you. Vicky Schaefer says, Carol, I remember Romper Room. Don't know what she's talking about, but that's funny. Beverly Sassone says, from the state of the Love Gov. Must be Florida, because there's not too many states who love their gov. A couple more here. Tom Adster from Illinois, my home state of Illinois. James Cagle from, or Cagle? It's Cagle or Cagle? Oh, from South Carolina. And Teresa Strednicki says, Twitter permanently suspends Project Veritas. Yeah, I heard about that. We'll talk about that a little bit today. Love the new shirts. Well, thank you so much. I'm actually working on that right now. We're working on a system to where not only, folks, are we going to get you apparel quicker, maybe not in the next few weeks, but definitely in the next month or two, we're going to work on getting you guys your orders a lot quicker. And we're going to start working with only businesses that actually support and watch the show. That means we're going to work on complete American made, and we're going to empower each other. I always preach about empowering each other, and we're going to do that, but I'll let you know when the time is right. Until then, continue to order, as it does help the show and it does give some money to some family farms. Okay, I appreciate that. I want to give some special shout outs here. Sharon Bodie, I got your card today. Thank you so very much. Sharon sent some Bibles, and then she went ahead and sent a check for the shipping and the handling of those Bibles to get them out to people's hands. And I couldn't thank you. I couldn't thank you enough. So thank you so much for that, Carol. Also, Tracy, I hope I say your name right. Tracy Haga. I said Haga earlier. I wasn't sure. Yes, your Bibles are here. I have them right here. And I wanted to let you confirm and let you know that they are here. We have a Bible for kids, and we have the Holy Bible, the large print. The large print thin line Bible. And guys, we are really, really stockpiling the Bibles. So keep them coming in if you can. Even if you have some old ones laying around the house that you don't use anymore, we are going to make sure that we get Bibles in all of your hands who need them. We're just going to do it a different way. As soon as my wife helps me inventory all of these, the new website actually drops tomorrow. And that's going to have the new system. It's going to be a new and improved website. It's going to have a new system where the business directories will slowly start trickling in there. And also the Bibles, where you can sign up for a Bible and I can get you one. And if we don't have one of the kind that you need, say it's a kid's Bible and we run out, we will get it for you. I promise you. I would also like to show you this awesome shirt from Kimberly Romansky. It is one of my favorite Bible verses. I say it every single day. And I don't know if she did it herself or if she ordered it off Etsy. It looks like it was ordered off Etsy, but I'm not sure if she did it herself or not. It's from Ritzy Glitzy, TZS on Etsy. And there you go, folks. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Thank you so very much. And these are all like, this is like sequins and stuff, or what are they called? Rhinestones, not sequins. There's rhinestones. Rhinestones. I'll be looking like Michael Jackson moonwalking around my studio with this. So let me put this in the box there so I don't mess that up. I know who it came from. So thank you, Kim Romansky, and thank you, everybody else. I still got things to open over there. I'm just doing it rather slowly lately because I want to make sure that I get everything inventoried properly, and I don't want to miss any letters. I don't want to miss anything that you guys might have thrown in the box. And I just want to say I'm eternally grateful. If you haven't done so yet, please reach down there, click that thumbs up button. If you have to jump out of the chat to do it, I would appreciate it ever so much. And I know some people who are even getting suspended on Facebook for sharing the video over there. So, yeah, I'm not going to make you do it. Obviously, I can't. But if you got that courage, copy the link and send it over there to Facebook as well. I also want you to know that I did receive your gifts if you are a donor. I did receive your gifts in the mail. Finally, I ordered some stuff for you guys. And if you haven't sent me your address yet, send me an email and just say donor address as the title. And me and my kids and my wife, we will work on packaging up your gift and sending it to you over the course of the next 2 weeks or so. You'll get something. We're going to start doing it this weekend. So I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you very, 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 very much. And yes, tomorrow the new website will be up, and it'll be a lot better, and it will be much improved. It's all a cost, but it's all something that you guys want to happen, and that's what I'm putting the money towards. So God bless you, and thank you all very much. Jeremy Herrell, calling you out. Let's see the moonwalk. Oh, I can moonwalk. I can also do a flip. Believe it or not, all this weight in the air. You just don't want to be under me in case I fall. Robert Navevo says, hello, New Jersey. Give a shout out. There you go, to the Garden State of New Jersey. All right, folks, let's get right to Jesus Calling. We got to give our love, our honor, our attention, and our full love right now to God above, Jesus in heaven. Let's do it April 15th, year of our Lord 2021. And we read this: as you realize your weaknesses, to me, for my purposes, you become a treasure in my kingdom. So that's God saying, as you realize that you are not strong enough to do it yourself, as you realize, dang, I do have weaknesses, I do have flaws. In the good grace of the Lord, I have these things. And he's saying, as you realize this, you realize it for him and his purposes, and you become a treasure in his kingdom. Making yourself fully available to me guarantees that your life will not be wasted. I will use it for my glory. In response, I dispatch my power to you. Now, Romans 12:1. If you have your Bible, please open your Bible. Somebody, Rosaria Barbera puts a thumbs down with Michael Jackson with a turd. You would, I want, after that, Rosaria, I'm going to address that real quick. But after this, first, we're giving our love and our honor to the Lord first. Romans 12:1. Please open your Bibles to Romans 12:1. Okay? Romans is in the back of the Bible. I appeal to you, therefore, brethren, and beg you in view of all the mercies of God to make a decisive dedication of your bodies, presenting all your members and faculties as a living sacrifice, to present everything that you are as a sacrifice. It's all you, God, take it. It's all you. Let your will be done. Use me how you see is what that's saying. As a holy sacrifice, or as a living sacrifice, holy, devoted, consecrated, and well-pleasing to God, which is your reasonable, rational, intelligent service and spiritual worship. Also, Leviticus 27 says, consecrate yourselves and be holy, because I am the Lord your God. And before you go to bed tonight, folks, offer your frailty to me for my service. I receive it as a sacred act of worship. So basically that tough guy mentality, that I got it, I can do it all on my own, I don't need help mentality, that where's the Lord when I really needed him mentality, that's not a mentality that he's talking about. He's talking about, Lord, I realize I can't do it. I realize I need your help. Help me, Lord. Marilyn Hammond says, hi, Jeremy. First time responding from Indiana, but watch you often. Well, thank you, Marilyn. I'm glad that the Lord was able to direct my eyes to the screen where I can see. I have two screens. I have one over on the wall and one right in front of me, and the Lord let me see that. So, Marilyn, God bless you, and thank you for commenting. Okay? Frank's speech will be open by Monday. Exactly. Rachel says, Sununu lifted the mask mandate. It actually comes up tomorrow, April 16th. All right, folks, let's get right to the Lord's Prayer, because you know why? Because Jesus asked us to when we pray. So let's do that real quick. Oh, this makes some people so mad, don't it? There's already 2 people with thumbs down in here.
Nobody cares.
Oh, my Lanta. Oh, screw you guys. I'm going home. Remember Cartman from South Park? Screw you guys. I'm going home. Taking my ball and going home. Anyway, if you can, say it loud, because God wants to hear it from your lips to his ears. But if you can't, say it internally for the Spirit to hear it. Shall we? Here we go. Woo! Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Now, if sometimes you might hear it as, instead of forgive us our trespasses, it's forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, right? But it depends on how you learned it, where you learned it, what denomination you are. It depends on, how you want to say it. I say it trespasses because that's how I was taught, and, that's just what I say. Do you offer couples Bibles? I don't have any couples Bibles yet, but if I get them, we will inventory them, and what we'll do is once we get them into the new site. Now, the Bible thing might not happen until early May, but once we get the Bibles into the new site, I'll actually have pictures of which Bible it is, and then I'll put an inventory underneath on how many quantity that we have, and we'll update that every couple days. Okay, so thank you guys all very much. We got to get to it though, because we got a lot to go through. We're 2 minutes earlier than we always are. My goal, folks, I don't want to shortchange God. A lot of people go, you're getting too holy roller from me. Well, I don't see it that way. I really don't. I don't want to shortchange God in any way, but I always want to make sure that I'm reading the news by quarter after. So if you don't want to hear anything about the Lord, or if you're not close to Christ yet, I pray for you that you will be soon. I pray for the two people to put the thumbs down as well. But just know that we start the news about quarter after, okay? All right, folks, here we go. First and foremost section of today, and that is this. Do you remember the story that was going around by the left-wing media, by the fake news media, by everybody in every Democrat, every liberal? Do you remember the story that was going around that they were lambasting President Trump for? That was the Russians were putting hit contracts out, basically murder contracts on our American soldiers over there. It was this big thing for months. They rode it for months. It was CNN's best horse. They rode it for months. MSNBC, Rachel Madcow, she rode that horse as far as she could ride it. Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, Chuck Schumer, all of them. The list goes down the line. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. The list goes down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it comes out. Daily Beast actually came out and admitted today that story was fabricated. That story was a lie. It was a complete lie. It started from the Daily Beast, and the Daily Beast has now come out admitting it today. So my question is, since we know this, where are the lawsuits? Let's see them. Let's start suing them. The same way that Project Veritas is suing New York Times, the same way Project Veritas is suing CNN. Let's find out who ran those stories, who was harmed directly, and I say all of us were harmed directly. These could be class action defamation suits. You know what I mean? Maybe all of us should be getting a hold of Lynn Wood, because in reality, all of these stories that were lies that were ran about President Trump ultimately worked together to put Biden in the White House. I mean, I guess you could say that. We all know that why he's really there. We all know it was because of the ballots, the mail-ins, the machines, and COVID and all that. However, there's an argument to be made that you screwed over our candidate and you took our freedom to choose who we wanted in the White House away. So I hope that the people who were directly affected, President Trump, President Trump's team, the campaign, all that, they go after the Daily Beast, and then they go after CNN, MSNBC, all of the fake news media, and anybody who ran on this story. They ran it and they ran it and they ran it until it could not be run no more. That thing ran further than Forrest Gump. And you know what? Nobody has been held accountable for that. Well, today is the start of that domino. The Daily Beast comes out and they said, guess what? It was not true. It was a fake story. I don't know why they came out to say it. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a whistleblower there, but that's the case. So Jen Psaki, circle back, pretend to be press secretary. Jen Psaki was asked about it today. I was going to play the video, but when I hear her voice, I want to rip my ears off of my head, so I'm not going to play the video today. Plus, I got some other videos to show you anyway, and I don't want to just hammer with videos. She was asked today, is anybody going to apologize to President Trump, basically? The reporter said, is President Biden going to issue an apology, because he was even hammering President Trump about this, and now that we know that it was a lie, is there going to be any kind of apologies or anybody reaching out to say we're sorry to Mr. Trump? And she goes, well, I can't speak on the previous presidency, the previous administration, but I know. And then she spun the whole thing. She didn't circle back. She did a 180 rather than a 360, and she basically completely left the question. She just said how determined they are to make sure that the safety of American soldiers is their top priority. Really? Then why are you getting them into war with Russia? Why are you getting them into war with all these other countries right now? Why are you putting them? Why are you hurting? Targeting them by saying we're going to pull them out, targeting U.S. interests by saying you're going to pull troops out of Afghanistan and everything. The troops are the last thing on your mind. That's why you had them sleeping in a garage in Washington, D.C. while they were down there protecting the Capitol from the evil white nationalists and the evil white supremacists. What a lie. What a circle back pile of crap that was. Jen Psaki. Oh, you know what? I gotta do it. Jen Psaki, you get the first. Dumb for today, right into that swamp donkey bucket, because that was the worst. You know what? At least you could have said, you know what? We're sorry. We were going off information that we had, and I will talk to the president, because she calls him that. I will talk to the president about issuing some kind of a statement, and I'll circle back to you. But nope, she just spun the entire thing and answered it as if they care about our military. Teresa says, every lie revealed. Every lie will be revealed. I believe that. The truth always floats to the top. It always floats to the top. Dum Saki. Well deserved. I think so. All right, moving on. Folks, we are going to talk quickly about Antifa, the idea which is Antifa. Let's talk about them real quick because this is funny. Trouble in Antifa land. Well, because an informant that was working behind enemy lines as an Antifa member or an Antifa idea actually snitched on her fellow Antifa members. Big trouble in Antifa land. She snitched to the Portland police. Do you remember the precinct that was on fire the other day? Do you remember when I showed you that video where they were like, burn, burn, let it burn, or whatever they were saying? Remember that? Well, Fran says your dumb bucket is getting full. You darn right it is. Well, they were just snitched on. The Antifa members that actually set fire to that Portland precinct actually have been snitched on. Let me read this for you real quick. Antifa terrorists in Portland are panicking as one of their own has supposedly turned against them, ratting out criminal behavior to the police. After Tuesday night's torching of the police union headquarters building, one of the rioters, Alma Raven Guido. That's the name. ARG. ARG has been arrested and charged with arson, riot, and criminal mischief. If you can believe it, pro-Antifa district attorney Mike Schmidt in Portland, who, by the way, is a huge pro-Antifa guy, if he could be the leader of Antifa, I think he would be. But believe it or not, Mike Schmidt, the district attorney there, is actually holding her to the charges. Turns out that one of their own ratted her out to the police, and this isn't the first time this person has snitched. Ooh, the plot thickens on the idea, which is Antifa. Eyewitness testimony from the Portland police informant, with a history of providing credible and reliable information on multiple prior investigations, is one of the Multnomah County prosecutor's strongest pieces of evidence in charging a 19-year-old woman with arson for allegedly setting fire to the Portland Police Association headquarters. On Wednesday, the district attorney office filed charges of arson, criminal mischief, and felony riot against ARG, Alma Raven Guido. The charges follow an April 13th protest against racist policing, yeah right, where some of the protesters marched to the Union Hall on North Lombard Street and set fire to a portion of it. The most substantial evidence in the probable cause affidavit filed Wednesday by the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office comes from the alleged first-hand account of an unarmed informant. The informant observed the defendant pour flammable liquid on the building from the plastic bottles, which the informant described as having labels which were either blacked out or taped over with black tape. The informant further explained that when the defendant was pouring the liquid on the fire and causing the fire to grow, one of the bottles caught on fire and started to melt, so on and so forth. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, the idea that is Antifa actually has members in there that are informants. And you want to know the best way to take down a terrorist organization? The same way you take down the mob. You get somebody to get behind enemy lines, see everything they're doing, and report their criminal behavior. Now, if you tell Jerry Nadler, or if you tell Nancy Pelosi that this happened, they will say, well, that's impossible. Because it's impossible to infiltrate in Antifa, because you cannot infiltrate an idea. Well, the snitching keeps on coming, and guess what? The snitches ain't getting stitches. Actually, the only ones that are getting stitches are you and me, the American people, at the hands of this idea, which happens to be a very credible and very real terrorist organization. So, shout out to the informants and the snitches, huh? Oh, that's great. But, speaking of Jerry Nadler, because, you know, he says that Antifa was an idea, Jerry Nadler came out today with his court packing bill, which was sponsored by 3 other Democrats, all of who had equally stupid things to say in front of the mic. Jerry Nadler had to get on a step stool in order to get to the height of the podium so that he could speak. And hopefully he didn't poop his pants in the process. Now, I know you don't want to hear from Jerry Nadler, but you do have to hear the poop that was coming out of this end rather than the poop that comes out of the other end, which he's also capable of doing. So, having said that, we're going to roll that beautiful bean footage so you can see Jerry Nadler speaking, well, doing something. Anyway, here you go, Jerry Nadler.
Number of justices up to Congress. And Congress has changed that number 7 times in the history of the country. Our founders understood that as the country and the judicial system evolve, the court needs to evolve with it. And this legislation represents a much-needed next step in that evolution. Many people think about the Supreme Court in terms of its individual members, and they're right to do so. But it's also the fact, in addition to what we were referring to a few minutes ago, in terms of the legitimacy of the court.
Hold on. Denise Chanda says Nadler looks like the hamburger guy on Popeye. You're so right. He does look like the hamburger guy on Popeye. Anyway, he just said the legitimacy of the court. Let's move on.
The efficiency of the court is another question. 9 justices may have made sense in the 19th century, when there were only 9 circuits. Only a few hundred appeals were filed before the court every year. And so many of our most important laws, everything from civil rights to antitrust, the internet, financial regulation, healthcare, immigration, and white-collar crime, simply did not exist as far as the court was concerned, and did not require adjudication by the Supreme Court. But the logic behind having only 9 justices is much weaker today, when there are 13 circuit courts, thousands of cases filed before the court each year, and the full range of statutes and regulations that make our economy and our society work. And that's why, unlike through most of our history, the Supreme Court accepts certiorari, accepts cases in a tiny, tiny fraction of cases. And that means that most cases, the vast majority of cases, the overwhelming majority of cases, don't get considered by the Supreme Court, which they are entitled to do, and throughout much of our history did. Our predecessors made eminent sense when they pegged the size of the Supreme Court to the number of judicial circuits. As our country has grown, so too to the Supreme Court. 13 justices for 13 circuits is a logical progression. And that is another reason why I'm glad to join my colleagues in introducing the Judiciary Act of 2021 to establish the Supreme Court size as 13. That's a nice number. It's not a nice number. It's a proper number. It matches the number of circuits as it has historically, and it also will enable us to do justice and to rectify the great injustice that was done in packing the court. And some people will say we're packing the court. We're not packing it. We're unpacking it. Senator McConnell and the Republicans packed the court over the last couple of years, as Senator Markey outlined. So this is a reaction to that. It's a necessary step in the evolution of the court, and I'm proud to co-sponsor it.
Okay, first of all, he says, is that lies or poop I smell? Is that lies or is that poop? It depends. And that is the company that should hire Jerry Nadler as a sponsor. Depends, because you never know if poop's going to come out of the front, which it's a good thing he's got a mask on. Now we just need to put a mask on the back in case he decides to poop out of his rear end. Is that poop or is that lies? Anyway, he just says the great injustice that was done. This is not court packing. This is court unpacking. He called President Trump and Mitch McConnell and everybody who put Supreme Court justices in those seats, he called that a travesty. He called that a disaster. He called that illegitimate, and he called that court packing, even though the President of the United States has the constitutional duty to fill a Supreme Court seat when there isn't one filled, when one is vacant. Duh! I can't give Jerry Nadler a bigger dumb award. I have some big ones here, but I can't give a bigger dumb. What is he talking about? He goes on to say that President Trump's picks for Supreme Court were illegitimate. And this is a direct response to that. This is a reaction to what happened when President Trump rightfully, lawfully, and per his duty, filled seats in the Supreme Court that were vacant. This guy has lost his marbles. He has no idea what he's talking about. Poop's coming from the front end. Poop's coming from the back end. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm taking my ball and going home. Cartman, right there. Unbelievable. I would like to give a shout out to Paula Lee, because I saw in some of the comments on social media, I saw Paula Lee say that she's been here for so long and never got a shout out. Paula Lee, there's your shout out. Thank you so very much. Long story short, folks, let me give you the summary of that. Everything you just heard right there was complete and total garbage. Nothing was true. Everything was a crybaby opinion. Everything was a whine, cry, and a Democratic tactic, okay? Joe Manchin came out today. We called Joe Manchin's office earlier. Joe Manchin came out today and actually reaffirmed to the American people that in no way, shape, or form does he support court packing. And again, he reaffirmed that he will not get rid of the filibuster in order to court pack. He said that it's not right, and I'll tell you what, he is not the only one. Kyrsten Sinema is not the only one. There are moderate Democrats that do not want to pack the court. That is why immediately after Poop Pants decided that he was going to unveil this plan and this bill to get this bill passed so they could pack the court, Nancy Pelosi gave her daily or weekly or whatever it is press conference, and she was asked, do you support Jerry Nadler's bill to pack the courts? Are you going to bring this to the House floor for a vote? Nancy Pelosi quickly said no. She said, I don't support it. What I do support is President Biden's, she says, committee to look into the idea of packing the court, but this is how the swamp works. This is how the swamp works. Every time Nancy Pelosi says she's not going to support something, she comes back 3 weeks later and says, guess what? There's support for it now. The reason why she doesn't support it right now is because she knows that there's not enough support in Congress for it to happen. She knows for sure that there's not even enough to get a majority in the House, let alone the 60 votes you're going to need in the Senate. So, Mr. Poop Pants, Mrs. Stretchface Armstrong, your days are numbered, your bills are numbered, and you're not going to transform the country as much as you think you are. You might think you're going to do it. People might feel you're going to do it because of the fear-mongering you're doing, but I'm here to tell you, you're not getting H.R. 1, you're not packing the courts. Have a nice day. Okay? Moving right along. And the whole thing with Joe Manchin coming out again today, you'd think that if it wasn't for the thousands of people that watch this show, you'd think for the thousands of people, not the 4 people who've put in thumbs down, okay? But you think for the thousands of people that have been calling, including myself, you don't think that's had an effect? You don't think that that is propping up the decision by Joe Manchin to say, hey, I'm sticking with it. So keep calling these folks. Keep letting them know what's going on. They're not going to get this through. As long as you and I keep fighting, as long as you and I keep being vocal, they are not going to get this through. Bobby Norton says, time to call the Dems out for lying. We are tired of their games. Vicky says, I called Manchin today, and I had everyone in the shop call. LOL, I'm learning from you, Jeremy. Well, hey, it is what it is. I'm glad we're all working together. Donna Jones says, we need a giant dum-dum and hit them all over the head. I don't disagree. I do not disagree, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to President Trump real quick, some news on President Trump, I would like you to know that the CDC put out a statement today where they said that 5,800 fully vaccinated people have contracted COVID-19, and 74 of them are dead. Yes, that's right. I said it. Okay, moving right along, folks. Let's talk about President Trump. President Trump promised you that he would endorse a candidate to go up against lazy, lying, crazy Liz Cheney, right? Yesterday, we talked about this on the earlier show on 11 o'clock. We talked about Liz Cheney coming out and saying she would not vote for President Donald J. Trump. And in that response to her saying she would not vote for President Donald J. Trump if he ran again, I did this.
Nobody cares.
President Trump came out immediately with a statement, and it didn't take long for him to come out with another statement. Just 24 hours after lazy, lying, crazy Liz Cheney decided that she was going to run her mouth and open her mouth about President Trump again, all she's really doing. When are these people going to learn? Rhinos are almost as dumb as Democrats. When are they going to learn that if they open their mouth and poke the bear, that it's going to come back? Has President Trump not told you that he's a counterpuncher? 24 hours after she decided to open her mouth, President Trump has come out with an endorsement. And the endorsement goes to Frank Ethorn. Frank Ethorn. He says Frank Ethorn continues to fight for our America First policies as GOP chairman of the great state of Wyoming. He is highly respected by everyone, fighting for your Second Amendment and continually growing the Republican Party. Perhaps, most importantly, Frank has censured the incompetent Liz Cheney, who couldn't care less about our brave soldiers overseas, and who is willing to fight ridiculous, endless wars instead of preparing for the big-time enemies that may someday soon face our country. Frank has my complete and total endorsement for his re-election. He will never let you down, President Donald J. Trump. Yvonne says it right. Never bet against Trump. NBAT. Shout out to Kind Embroidery on Etsy for making those NBAT hats. Never bet against Trump, NBAT hats. And a big shout out to President Trump for 24 hours later coming out with the first endorsement. Again, that is Frank Ethorn, Eathorne. If you'd like to do some research on him, if you'd like to reach out to him and let him know that he has your support, and if you live in Wyoming, definitely see if you can get involved and how you can help beat Liz Cheney. However, I don't think it's going to be too hard to beat her. So shout out Frank Ethorn and shout out to President Donald J. Trump. Are you guys ready for a Smartie? I'm ready for a Smartie. Now, you know that when I grab one of these Smarties, 9.9 times out of 10, it is not going to a Democrat. Because, hey, let's just face it. I'm not trying to say all of them are, but let's just face it, okay? So today's Smartie, the first Smartie anyway, is going to go to Governor Jim Justice of West Virginia. Governor Jim Justice, here you go, sir. Boom, Governor Jim Justice, you get the first Smartie of the day today. Why? Because he is getting ready to sign a bill into law banning biological males from competing with biological females. Add that to how many states now? I don't know. I'm going to have to put them all together. There's probably 6 or 7 states now that have banned or are planning to ban biological boys from competing against biological girls. Take that, NCAA. How do you like that? That's another state for you to contend with. How many times are you dumb corporations going to realize that you cannot beat an entire state? How many times are you going to realize that making your woke statements is really going to cause you to go broke in the end? Do you think it really bothers an entire state that your woke organization isn't going to come in there and bless them with your presence? You're the one that gets hurt from it. You're the one that loses money. You're the one that loses money from it, and ultimately you lose your power. And when you lose your power, you lose your voice, and then nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. So big shout out to Jim Justice of West Virginia. But wait, there's more. I got another Smartie to give away. Let's give it away again. Now this Smartie, boom, is going to go to North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Why? Because he now has launched a state task force this week to root out all left-wing indoctrination in their public schools in North Carolina. Let me say it again for the people in the back who might be hard of hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson of North Carolina has launched a statewide task force this week to root out all left-wing indoctrination in their public school system. This task force is called FACTS, F-A-C-T-S, and it stands for Fairness and Accountability in the Classroom for Teachers and Students. And guess what it will feature? It will feature, among many other things that it's doing, a tip line where parents, students, and educators may submit examples of discrimination and unequal treatment related to faith, ethnicity, worldview, or political beliefs, and in a time where the white Christian conservative is under attack like never before. Let's get an amen, because you want to know something? Not at one state, not one attorney general, not one governor, and not one lieutenant governor until now has decided that they are going to root out left-wing indoctrination of our children. We've talked about it. President Trump has talked about it. We've complained about it. We've sent emails about it, but now somebody's actually taking a stance. So Google Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson of North Carolina so you can become familiar with his face and then reach out to him and let him know that he has your full support, and especially if you live in the great state of North Kakalaki. Get on that phone, get on that computer. Does that deserve a slurp or what? We got, guys, do you notice? I don't know if you notice or not, but I have more good news about Republican wins every day than you see about Democrat wins on mainstream media. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? You just aren't. The problem with the world is we're not seeing the wins on the Republican side. Why? Because nobody reports them. Now you have a few people like the Gateway Pundit, the Epic Times, the Federalist, people like that, they're reporting it. Revolver News, Steve Bannon, they're reporting stuff like that. But I can sit and find constant wins all over the country every day. I get phone calls every day from different states of people telling me that this is a win, this is a win, that's a win. We need a slurp. We need a slurp. That right there, a slurp life. Ooh, I like that. I'm all about that slurp life. That right there is some of the best news I've heard in a long time. Because that goes right to the heart of our youth. That goes right to the heart of our children. You know what I mean? Woo! Okay. Now, you've probably all seen this today. But have you guys seen Jim Jordan just absolutely fillet Dr. Fauci today? Dr. Ratface Fauci, have you seen how bad Jim Jordan stomped him down today verbally? Oh, it was a thing of beauty. Meanwhile, Maxine Waters, who was there, she says, "You need to respect the chair and shut your mouth," she says to Jim Jordan. He looks at her like, yeah, right. He looks at her like,
nobody cares.
"You need to respect the chair and shut your mouth." Yeah, okay. Come make me. How about that? You guys want to play these games? Let's play these games. I love Jim Jordan. I'm not going to play you the entire 7 minutes. I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is I will play 2 videos for you. Now, I know that half of you have seen this, but I know half of you haven't. So for those of you who haven't, here's what I want you to do. Grab your coffee or your beer or your drink, your water, whatever it is. Grab it, take a sip, take a deep breath, and get ready to put a big smile on your face. Jim Jordan versus Dr. Fauci. Here we go. There's 1 of 2, by the way. This is clip 1 of 2. Here we are. Come on, play. Play.
When is the time? Well, in your written statement, you say, now is not the time to pull back on masking, physical distancing, and avoiding congregate settings. When is the time? When do Americans get their freedom back?
Look at him.
Can you put your microphone, please?
Right. When we get the level of infection in this country low enough that it is not a really high threat.
What is low enough? Give me a number. We had 15 days to slow the spread, turned into 1 year of lost liberty. What metrics, what measures, what has to happen before Americans get their freedoms back?
My message, Congressman Jordan, is to get as many people vaccinated as quickly as we possibly can, to get the level of infection in this country low that it is no longer a threat. That is when. And I believe when that happens, you will see.
What determines when?
I'm sorry.
What measure? I mean, are we just going to continue this forever, or when do we get to the point? What measure? What standard? What objective outcome do we have to reach before Americans get their liberty and freedoms back?
You know, you're indicating liberty and freedom. I look at it as a public health measure to prevent people from dying and going to the hospital.
You don't think Americans' liberties have been threatened the last year, Dr. Fauci? They've been assaulted. Their liberties have.
I don't look at this as a liberty thing.
Of course you don't.
Congressman Jordan.
Well, that's obvious.
That's
as
obvious.
a public health thing.
But
I disagree with you on
you
that.
think the Constitution is suspended during a virus, during a pandemic? It's certainly not.
This will end for sure when we get the level of infection very low. It is now at such a high level.
No!
There's a threat again of major surge.
Dr. Fauci, over the last year, Americans' First Amendment rights have been completely attacked.
Okay, now let's scroll down to this video.
Give us your best guess then.
I just did.
No, you didn't. You didn't give us the
I
time.
just
When do you
did.
think this is going? Are we going to be here 2 years from now wearing masks?
No,
I'm
I don't-
asking
I
Dr.
don't-
Fauci the same question.
Well, let me answer your ranting again. Let me
No, I'm
just.
not ranting.
Ooh, listen
Yes,
to him
you
here.
are.
Listen to this.
Here's how it works, Dr. Fauci.
Right.
I get to ask you the question. You're the highest paid official in the United States government. You've given us your advice on baseball, on dating apps, on cruise ships. You told us 0 masks, 1 mask, 2 masks, now back to 1 mask. I'm just asking you, when is it going to end? You can say I'm ranting. I'm actually asking the question that the citizens I get the privilege of representing, and my name actually goes on a ballot. I don't think your name's ever been on a ballot. My name goes on a ballot. The citizens I represent want to know the answer to when they can get their liberties back.
You know,
You can
and
call that ranting. I actually call it standing up for the Constitution, which I take an oath to uphold, Dr. Fauci, every year, every term that I serve in this Congress representing the folks in the 4th District of Ohio. So it is not ranting. It is defending the First Amendment.
Bye, Jerry.
And we'd like an answer, or your best guess, since
Yeah.
you got an answer for everything else.
Or your best guess, since you got an answer for everything else. Oh, Jim Jordan. Oh, Jim Jordan went straight ghetto on his ass. If DMX, rest in peace, was still alive, he'd pop out and go, where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at? Because I think Jim Jordan just took Dr. Fauci through the hood. Oh, he gave him a lesson, didn't he? He's like, has your name ever been on a ballot? You're the highest paid official in government. Has your name ever been on a ballot? When? Give me that. And you know what? He couldn't give it. He couldn't give it. He had to have, what's her name, Maxine Waters come in and help him. He had to have other Democratic members come in and slam their gavels and, excuse me, Mr. Time, I claim my time. And Jim Jordan just wasn't having it today. Oh, I wish I could die. I would love to have 30 minutes of an interview with Dr. Fauci. Can anybody make that happen for me for Christmas? Can you get me 30 minutes of an interview with Dr. Fauci? If so, I will come and do your laundry for a year. I would love to interview Dr. Fauci for 30 minutes and for 30 uninterrupted minutes, meaning that he can't leave. He has to stay for 30 straight minutes. Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at? Boom! Now, when you go back to what that CDC said about 5,800 people being fully vaccinated getting the disease, kind of makes you think a little bit, doesn't it? Kind of makes you think a little bit, doesn't it? Oh, that was beauty to my ears. Jim Jordan, that was beauty to my ears. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Katie Sanchez says, I burst out laughing. Cher says, Fauci needs to be in jail. You are 100% right. Donna says, cage fight. Dr. Fauci versus Jim Jordan in the UFC. Dana White, my man, make that happen. Let's make that happen. Okay, folks. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. We got to give it to him. Dr. Fauci, you deserve it. You deserve this so much. Dr. Fauci, boom, swamp donkey. Yes, you are. Okay, check this out. Here we go. Like I said in the beginning, Twitter has now permanently suspended Project Veritas. Why? Because Project Veritas made CNN look stupid. That's why. Guess what else happened? Facebook has suspended the New York Post posting anything about BLM. So if the New York Post tries to post anything about BLM, boom, their posts don't go on. They don't even go on. They won't even load on. And now Twitter has permanently suspended Project Veritas after the CNN tapes exposed them. You see how they all work together and try to protect each other? But it's getting too much for them. The way I look at it is the more of this banning that happens as we lead up to Frank's speech and whatever President Trump's doing with his social media network and others, it's a badge of honor. It is a badge of honor to be suspended or banned from those platforms. And I can't wait to see them flushed down the toilet like that unwanted turd we talked about earlier. And the funny thing about me saying that earlier where I said an unwanted turd, somebody actually said as opposed to a wanted turd. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Some more good news real quick. Actually, some bad news. My brother. Oh, my brother. We're talking about Dr. Fauci and COVID and all this, right? My brother was blackmailed, basically given an ultimatum by his job. Not blackmailed. He was given an ultimatum by his job. His job told him today that you either get the shot or you're fired. Now, my brother, God bless him, who doesn't really know much at all when it comes to his rights or politics, and barely talks to me, I don't know why, should have came and talked to me first, but it's too late now because he went and he got the shot. Okay, so they told him you either get the shot or you get fired. If I would have been able to talk to my brother beforehand, I would have been able to tell him, let them fire you. They cannot punish you and fire you over not taking a drug that is in experiment stages and is not even federally approved by the FDA. They can't do that. It is federally illegal to make you take something that is not federally approved by the FDA. Had he told me this was happening, I would have been able to tell him that. And I would have said, screw the job. You can sue them for everything they're worth if they fire you. My mom calls me and tells me he took it. And I said, well, he already took it. And she goes, yeah, it's too late. He already took it. I said, why? Why? Oh, my own family. So I hope nothing happens to him. I hope he's one of those people that something doesn't happen to him. But that's not to say that something won't happen to him down the road. So please pray for my brother. And I'm going to talk to him about suing his employer for making him take something that wasn't federally approved. But my brother just, like most people on this planet, just go, well, I got to do it. I don't want to disrupt my day-to-day routine. Sometimes you got to disrupt your day-to-day routine to fight for America and to fight for your rights. So I'll be talking to him, but please be praying for my brother that nothing happens to him, because if something does happen to him, woo, oh boy. All right, moving on real quick. Biden, I'm not going to give Biden a dum-dum for this, but there's got to be something nefarious behind it. The Biden administration wins, ladies and gentlemen. They had a claim in, and they won immediate possession of private land on the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, you're asking yourself, why? Why would the Biden administration, why is that a good idea that the Biden administration wins and gets private land? Well, it's not a great thing, okay? Anytime the federal government takes any land from the American people, I hate it. I can't stand it. I don't like to see the federal government have that much power. However, if it's going to be taken for some kind of eminent domain, what is it going to be taken for? And is it better off to have the eminent domain and have the land taken rather than not? Well, I guess, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. However, the Biden administration today, and this is not in mainstream media, so you won't hear about this. They actually won today in an attempt to get land from a private landowner in order to continue to build the wall. That's right. Why? Because A, they know it works. B, they're going to try to take credit for President Trump's wall because they're going to say Biden finished the wall and he's the one who got immigration under control. They're going to say they inherited this mess from President Trump. But the fact of the matter is the money has already been appropriated for the wall. We needed more land in order to build and finish the wall. And the Biden administration somehow got the land that it needed to continue to build the border wall. So, is it good news? I don't know. Is anything that Resident Corn Pop does good? Probably not. But the fact of the matter is, as long as that wall continues to keep going up, I'm happy because you know what? Maybe he caved to pressure because he's got like 30 lawsuits. He's got AGs suing him. He's got governors suing him. He's got individuals suing him. The wall needs to continue to be built. I don't care how it continues to be built, but the wall needs to be built. So build the wall 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? Let's finish that Trump legacy. Okay. I want to show you something that's pretty disturbing. And this is the LAPD making house calls, forcing mentally handicapped people to take the COVID shot. Now, these people are trying to get away, and they are crying. I understand if they're mentally handicapped, they may not think over a child's level. And they might just inherently, not inherently, but just by nature be scared of taking a shot. However, when you start assuming that they don't know what's happening, that's where you mess up. And what you're about to see is the LAPD forcing mentally handicapped people in the care of others to take these shots. And it's not pleasant to watch. So bear with me here. I want to make sure that you guys get the best view of this. Means I got to adjust my screen here a little bit so you can see. It is not a pleasant thing to watch, but it is what it is. Here's the LAPD truly pushing their way into people's homes and making people take shots. Here you go.
It's okay, Shirley. It's okay, love. It's okay. Just let her relax. It's okay. Come on. One time only. Come on. We'll let her come back. You already talked last night. You already talked last night, right? She said yes. It's only here. Just one time.
Look how they're all holding him. Look at that.
It's all right, baby. We are done.
Filming it with phones.
Good job. Woo!
I can't even watch it. There's more. There's more on another video that I saw, but I can't. I don't like watching that stuff. I don't like watching it. I don't like the fact that they're holding them down. I don't like the fact that they're forcing it on them, and I don't like the fact that somebody else is making the decision for them. This is happening in California. That was the LAPD, and yeah, not a good sight to watch. Not a good thing to watch. Now I want to end the show with two things. Something very important that I need to tell you, so don't leave yet, but also something very nice that I want to show you. This is what we should let all kids experience, so kids know how to A, have manners, B, know how to act when they get pulled over, and C, just have common decency for the rule of law. And this was a great video that some parents put together for this little kid, and I think it was really great. Now, the little kid is also mentally challenged, but it's a great video, and it puts a smile on your face. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
They're pulling you over, Byron. Stop the car. Got your ID?
Yeah.
Aww, look at him.
Got it.
Young man, do you know how fast you were going? I need your identification. I'll be right back, okay? Mr. Byron, you need to slow down a little bit, okay? There's a lot of kids in this neighborhood. You give you your identification back, and I'm going to give you a warning, okay? And you can go. Give me a fist bump.
Oh, what a little cutie. What a little cutie, huh, guys? Well, did you see that little boy? He's like, "Yep, I got my ID," and he gave the ID. But there's so many lessons to be learned from watching that video. One, respect for others, respect for law and order. Two, teaching your children that cops are not all bad. I don't care who you are, what race you are, what lifestyle you come from. If you came from a trailer park or the ghetto, or if you're homeless, or if you got a mansion, respect for rule of law. You give respect, you'll get respect. And that little boy, I want to just buy him some ice cream and take him out for the day. He was so cute, and I loved finishing the video with that. Now, I got some good news, and I got a little bit of bad news, okay? You guys know that I'm going to be going out on the Save America tour with the bus, okay? Now, a lot of the, when you guys helped me create this company and do this for a full-time job, I promised you a lot of things. And one of the things I promised you was that I was going to go out and I was going to give America a voice, and that I was going to interview people and I was going to hold people accountable and so on and so forth. Well, this is part of that. There's a big expense behind it, but you know what? It's worth it. And you guys have got me here, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work with these people, and we're going to team up and we're going to do this. So I will be heading to Atlanta, Georgia. All right. And I'll be flying to Atlanta, Georgia. I'll be meeting Ben Berkwam there. I'll be meeting Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe, there, and Vernon Jones. We're going to be doing an event with Real America's Voice News with the bus, and we're going to start in Atlanta. We're going to have an event or like a press conference in Atlanta. We're going to talk to these folks. We're going to talk to Vernon Jones about what he plans on doing in Atlanta as he runs for governor. We're going to talk to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And by the way, we want to pray for Marjorie Taylor Greene's father. He passed away. His funeral was today. So please send your condolences to Marjorie Taylor Greene and her family. But we're starting in Atlanta, Georgia. And so that means that we are postponing Pennsylvania, and we are coming back to Pennsylvania after this is done. And the reason why is because the news organization who's really scheduling all of this, even though I'm pitching in financially and doing other things with the news organization, they actually schedule this, and they had to they really wanted to schedule this first and then push Pennsylvania back. So we'll be going from Atlanta, Georgia, through Alabama, through Mississippi, through Louisiana, and all the way to McAllen, Texas. We will be stopping in each one of those states. I do not have stop times yet or stop locations yet, but I will let you know as we go. I will be with them for 5 days. I will be doing live from America, truly live from America, both times every day, the same as we do now. I'll just be on the Save America bus, and I'll be on there with people from Real America's Voice News, and we will be going from state to state as we make our way to McAllen, Texas, which is where the border is. Now, once we get to McAllen, Texas, I don't know if they're going to be on site or if they're going to be doing it from Skype. I believe they're going to be doing it on Skype. We're going to end up in McAllen, Texas with Ted Cruz and Representative Louis Gohmert, and we're going to be holding a press conference there and doing an event there as well. The entire reason and rhyme for these events in Atlanta and all the way through to Texas is A, to give real Americans a voice, actually stop and talk to real Americans and hear what they have to say, not some poll that some news organization has to say, and to make sure that we make national news with the press conferences and the events that we have both in Atlanta and in Texas, to let them know exactly how we on the right feel about everything and what we're planning on doing, and really just passing courage and knowledge. I'm going to be giving Bibles away in every state. We're going to be educating people, and so that the bad part about that is I actually have to cancel my trip to Pennsylvania in order to do this. And the reason why is because there was so much built around this. And again, I didn't make the scheduling, so I do have to cancel my Pennsylvania one right now, but we'll come back to Pennsylvania with the bus and do something big there. So I do apologize, but I'm kind of in between a rock and a hard place there. So I will be heading down to Atlanta, Georgia on the 24th. I was supposed to be going to Pennsylvania on the 24th, but I have to start there because we have to move this entire thing that we're doing from the 24th in Atlanta all the way to the 28th in Texas. That's when we're going to end up there. I'll give you more details as it comes, but I have to get out on the road, and this is where we're going to start. So I cannot wait to meet Vernon Jones. I've never met him before. I can't wait to meet up with everybody else and really, truly start putting plans together for people like me and you to all get involved, and I'll actually be teaming up with Real America's Voice News to do this. So God bless you all. Thank you for funding all of this for me, and so I could put my part in to make sure that we can do this. Thank you for basically everything, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this, and this is what you wanted me to do. And as much as I don't want to be away from my family for a week, I got to get out on the road, because that is what I promised you that I would do. So thank you all very much, and I'll give you details as we lead up to that day, and of course every day after that. But I will be truly live from America. So God bless you all. Thank you so very much for today. I will be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow for more Live from America. Remember, there are right ways, there are wrong ways, but there's only one Yahweh. So let's try to be like him, okay? And let's stand up tall. Let's keep our shoulders back, our chest out, keep our head up high, because you are a child of God, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. Please go to jeremyherrell.com. Sign up for the newsletter, become a monthly donor, and listen to my music on there for absolutely free, as well as watch all of my old videos and listen to my podcasts. Thank you all. This is Jeremy Herrell, the Hip Hop Patriot from New Hampshire, signing out. God bless you. I love you all. Have a great night. See you later.
Long as I'm bleeding, I'ma never stop screaming that we first in America.